UFO whistleblower David Grusch suing the sheriff's office over records that were released to the press. This is a big story. I believe so. David Grusch, who it's been a year. It's been one full year since they had the hearing with himself, Graves, and Fravor in front of the government saying that we did have possession of NHI craft bodies and whatnot, and really blowing the lid off of this thing and starting this conversation, or I shouldn't say starting it, but continuing it and making the conversation louder and louder and louder. And so not too far after that, not only was there a LinkedIn post from, I guess, disgraced Arrowhead Sean Kirkpatrick, but also there was a report about David Grusch that went to the news, went to a reporter who reported that David Grusch had things that had happened with PTSD and other things that had happened and problems that he had in the past, and it was brought to light in an attempt to discredit him, but it didn't really work because a lot of people were pushing back against it and quite frankly thought it was gross, including myself and most people who watch this. Well, it is not over. David Grusch is suing the peeps. Well, this is what the report is. UFO whistleblower sues sheriff's office over the record release. That's right. And this is over on loudountimes.com. Evan Goodenow writes this. A retired Air Force officer who testified before Congress that the U.S. government was involved for decades in a secret crash retrieval and reverse engineering program involving UFOs is suing Loudoun County Sheriff Mike Chapman and an identified sheriff's office employee for releasing personal information about him. So this is the actual place itself writing the article about what went down. The plaintiff, retired David Grusch, says in a $2.5 million lawsuit filed July 16th in Loudoun Circuit Court that a sheriff's office employee improperly released highly sensitive personal information about his medical history in response to a Freedom of Information Act request on July 30th, 2023. The employee is identified only as Jane Doe. In an email to the Times-Mirror, Sheriff's Office spokesman Thomas A. Julius said the agency acted in accordance with the law in responding the referenced FOIA and disagrees with the allegations filed. Ken Klippenstein, then a reporter for The Intercept, filed the records request 4 days after Grusch testified before the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Grusch told the committee that several current and former members of the intelligence community and military provided him photography, official documentation, and classified oral testimony about the program, according to a transcript on his remarks. Grusch said that he filed a whistleblower complaint with the U.S. Office of the Intelligence Community Inspector General and suffered retaliation for his action. A sheriff employee provided Klippenstein with an incident report detailing why a magistrate in October 2018 issued an emergency custody order to detain Grusch involuntarily at Innova's London Adult Medical Psychiatric Service Program for a psychiatric evaluation, according to the lawsuit. An ECO allows people deemed by a magistrate to be a danger to themselves or others to be held for up to 8 hours in evaluation. A mental health worker who evaluated Grusch sought a temporary detention order for him, but Grusch was not committed and was consequently released, according to the suit. A TDO allows a person deemed a danger to themselves or others to be held up to 72 hours before a civil commitment hearing. Reports and court documents related to an involuntary admission are excluded from being released under the Virginia FOIA, according to the suit. The defendants had no authority to exercise discretion when releasing information relating to the plaintiff's involuntary admission records, reports, and/or documents, the suit says. The disclosure to Klippenstein was prohibited by law. The Intercept, an online investigative news site, published an article on August 9, 2023 that included a redacted version of the incident report. It said Grusch's wife called the sheriff's office to report that he was drunk and experienced a mental health crisis in their home. The couple sold the home in 2019, according to county property records. The article said that security clearances, which Grusch had, are subject to strict requirements and questioned why Grusch was allowed to keep his security clearance after the 2018 incident. The lawsuit says the article caused Grusch to suffer personally and professionally. I think this is a bad lawsuit for them, man. I really do, because as it says, I don't think you can release this from what was happening at that time, FOIA or not, because there are certain things inside of the FOIA report, FOIA rules. It says you can or can't get certain information. We've seen that alone with what the DOD has done. So this particular thing, we know what happened here. Everybody knows what happened here. Klippenstein was tipped off. Hey, go look over there and go talk to this lady over there. She just might give you what you need. And it seems like that's what happened. It seems like, Klippenstein walks over and says, I was told that you might have some stuff. And then he does this report, has this out there, gets destroyed by fellow reporters at the time on the Hill, that if you watch that interview, you can see they kind of question what he was doing and why he was doing it. Because, yes, as it says in there, if this was as serious as they might have wanted it to be in this report, well, clearly it was a serious incident. But if it was enough that Grusch was a hurt to himself, a threat to himself or anybody else, the chances of him being able to maintain that job at that level, and I think that the stuff that the information that he got and everything else was before that, or after that incident, rather, all the stuff that he testified with. So he was that had already happened, and he had, as people have talked about inside of this, in this report, anytime it came out, people go through things, and if he was deemed fit when he applied for the job to do what he did, his past shouldn't have been brought up. There hasn't been. There was the guy went through some stuff in the war, came back, wasn't able to really handle it as well, got help. But this was stuff that was not supposed to be out. If it says it inside of the report, I just never know in any lawsuit where they come up with the numbers for, because clearly, professionally and personally, this has affected him. There's no doubt about it. When you become that public of a figure from the stuff that you're doing, and then this report follows, everyone starts questioning your credibility and other things, and yeah, it becomes a thing. So that I just never understand how they come up with a number of 2.5 million. I don't know. It very well could be the right number. It could be less than what the number should be. I have no idea. I just never know how they come up with the number. And people who are smarter than me that deal with law and all those other things can tell me where they come up with that number. But 2.5 million, and if this is indeed the case of what it says there, they are not in their right to let this stuff up, it's going to be an open shut case, it seems like. And where is Klippenstein these days? I don't know. Very well could be doing reporting. I don't know, but it doesn't seem like he's at this publication. Did it have anything to do with this? I wonder. I don't know. But I ask you guys, though, when you hear this particular report about what this says, and the fact that Grusch is now coming out, now, I think there could be a couple different arguments for it. Well, I don't know. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. But I think that people go, oh, look, he's trying to get money. He's trying to get money out of this in this circumstance. But I mean, this is a different circumstance. This is taking somebody's personal history and things that they did the work on to get better, and trying to use that against them, and not being able, when legally not being able to. I mean, he's got good enough lawyers that they say, well, we've got a case here. They can't do this. So, but the thing that I think is actually beneficial to this is if he wins it, he can use some of this money to be more comfortable and talk more, because it's one of the things that we talk about quite often on this show, and that is that a lot of these whistleblowers are just not protected financially because there's no funding for a program for them. And it's one of the reasons I think that they want to get this thing passed, for the Schumer and Rounds bill, because maybe there'll be more money that can come into the program to protect these people, and protecting financially, protecting like with healthcare, with benefits, with all these different things that you're essentially giving up when you leave your cushy job to say this is what they're doing over there. They're not playing by the rules. And so Grusch probably has a lot of different opportunities these days to make some scratch, if you will. But if he wins a lawsuit of this magnitude, maybe he'll be able to put money towards the cause. Who knows? I don't know. But you hear this. What do you guys think? Put your comments in here. Tell me, does Grusch have a case? I think he does. But maybe, as I said, maybe there are people in there going, I don't know. It actually is, they were able to release it. It was under the FOIA thing, and there's basically they can prove that it was okay for them to release. Again, I don't think that's going to be the case, but let me know. There's other things coming up. I know I told you guys I was going to try to get a UAP Tuesday or long form podcast out this week. It's been a really busy week, guys. I've managed 2 channels. I have this channel, and then I have my pop culture movie channel, and it was Deadpool and Wolverine week all week, and we had some interviews that went up. I launched a clips channel for that thing. So there was a lot that happened this week. So I wasn't able to get to the long form podcast, but it will be back next week. I promise. I really was going to try hard to get it to come out today. I just couldn't do it. So thank you for joining me here today. Thanks for joining me this week. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. Thank you for all the kind words. You guys, I read the comments, even though I haven't been able to comment back all the time. I read them. And I'm very appreciative of all the kind words that people are talking about. I saw the comments yesterday on the video that Pavel and I did. Thank you. So thank you again. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you back here on Monday.